Could you mention a few of these that are you find they're actually best practices that you can take into the Web3 audit world?
There's so many. I mean, to start, it's a loaded question, but I mean, to start off with the basics is what we find is a lot of the companies that we chat to, and they're saying, okay, cool, well, we're not ready for you yet. Let us do a year or two of trading, and then when we're ready for an accountant for auditing, we will, then we'll reach out to you. And I'm kind of saying, well, guys, let's start from day one. You don't have to fully engage me, but let's have some top tips like get your wallet hygiene in place, put your structures in place, put your reporting structures in place. And these aren't big things that they need to implement. But with those couple of, if you're starting it from day one, maintaining it, it's not going to be 100% perfect, but in 2 years' time, I'm not going to have to come back and redo a whole historic restoration and start putting that into your culture and putting it from day one, no matter how small you are, and with the hope that you will grow, and then you grow with those good habits.
I could jump in there, and I swear, Richard, this isn't lip service, but what he said was that there's a lot to do here. In fact, there's so much to do that we found that it can be a little overwhelming to companies. Certainly, crypto startups and in that kind of domain, but even companies, global cryptocurrency exchanges that have been operating for a number of years, right, that still are trying to improve that audit readiness function, right, getting ready for that. There's just a bunch of best practices. So one thing that's kind of interestingly a best practice is kind of having a plan, right? Having a strategy, having a roadmap, because it just can be overwhelming. If you come in and you say, well, here are the 10 things that you absolutely have to fix, it's just sort of paralysis. Where do you start? They don't have, massive teams just dedicated to this function alone. So coming up with a strategy, say, okay, we're going to work on this, and then we're going to roll this out, and then this. That will make things a lot easier. Some of the things that Richard mentioned are the same things we're tracking over here, because getting ready for an audit, right? And you think about what 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 is the target of an audit? Well, it's the financial statements, right? That's what we audit, right? We issue the opinion on that. And so what is in the financial statements? How is information presented there? Well, it's accounting, right? It's accounting. And so one question is, how are you accounting for this stuff? Now, some cases by now are a little more straightforward. You're just sitting on some Bitcoin or something. But there are, an infinite number of pretty novel, complex contexts that you might have no idea how it's accounted for. So developing accounting policies, right? Sort of a key part of what we look at for audit readiness, because again, you can't audit what you don't know what it is. So that's something that's important. Thinking about having that financial reporting function that Richard mentioned, just how are we going to gather this stuff, right? Should we think about having certain controls in place to make sure that that information is being reported accurately? There's just a long list, and I'm sure Ari, when we get down to successful questions, maybe we can kind of add a little bit more and not over.